So the wrestling scene and acting scene and stunt double scene all goes back to the entertainment industry. And again, I talked to Jeannie Kim about this. The entertainment industry can be very demanding, and it can be very cutthroat, and there can be a lot of, I don't want to necessarily say backstabbing, but drama. So how do you stay grounded during all that animosity?
That's a good question. I get depressed a lot because there is a lot of backstabbing. You have to, it's a lot of inner work that you have to do within yourself and know your value and know yourself. And you have to try very hard to not take a lot of things personally because you could be let go for little things because they want to replace you with someone else. There's a lot of, maybe the stunt coordinator may use a certain person all the time, and even though your actress may request you, they may tell the actress, oh, she said she's busy, we got someone else. So a lot of that goes on. So you have to kind of stay grounded and push through, and because it's the nature of the business. It happens to everyone. And when I first got in, I thought it was just me, and then I realized by talking to everyone else that it's happened to them several times. So you have to do some inner work and try to have some inner peace and stay grounded and focused and just push on and never give up.
So for those within the entertainment industry who's really struggling to get the role he or she wants or the certain position he or she wants within the industry, not necessarily in front of the camera, but in the back of it as well, what advice would you give him or her to kind of lift him or herself back up?
Stay persistent. Persistence pays off. I mean, I've been doing what I do. I started wrestling in 2000, and it's been almost 12 years, and I have 7 years of stunts under my belt, and I never thought I would get this far. But if I gave up, I would have. I mean, there was a lot of downtime. There's a lot of negative things that go on, but you have to stay grounded. You have to push through. You have to stay determined, and you have to know your self-value. I always thought to myself that I would be where I am today, but more. So the more I think about, where I want to be, the more I could push through, and the positive thoughts will, evolve into something positive results. Like I always wanted to work on a big budget movie, and then when the Avengers came up, that was my dream come true movie. So I would say to never give up and to push through. And whenever you feel down and out, just know that something big is waiting in store because it always happens. It always happens.
So So I really hate to ask this question because it's really difficult for people to answer. But if you have to choose, do you have a favorite between wrestling and stunt performing? I mean, if you had to choose either or, would you? Or what's the story behind what you enjoy the most? Or do you love them equally is what I'm trying to ask.
You know what? I have to say I love them equally because, it's almost like asking an actor, do they love film and TV or do they love Broadway? I'm sure both would say they love both because you get the best of both worlds of performing in front of a live audience and being on location to shoot a movie. To me, it's the same way with stunts and wrestling. I honestly miss the live show part because the people were there, you get instant reinforcement, you hear the cheering, but then at the same time, I do enjoy those moments where you're on set and you get to do a scene over because you didn't like what you did the first time. And so I actually like them equally.
So when you hear people say, and I hear people say this all the time, not with just wrestling, but also with anything to do with stunts or physicality within the entertainment industry, is that they say it's quote-unquote fake. So how does it make you feel when you hear such things from people?
You know what? I don't take it personally because when I was growing up, I would say the same thing. I said, oh, that's fake. And now I get what they're saying. They're saying that people, like when, say, The Rock doesn't like the Deadly Boys or whoever, when they have this disagreement, they mean that the theatrics behind it is fake, not the actual action behind it. Do you get what I mean? So a lot, when you sit people down and you ask them what's fake about it, well, I don't think that they don't like each other, and I don't think that they did. I think that's all made up. They're actually talking about the acting behind it, which is true. It is fake. It is theater. Like they're putting on a show, but the action is actually real that they're doing. So when you break it down that way, then they understand it better.
So everyone has goals within the entertainment industry, and a lot of them are hard to reach. So what is your goal within the entertainment industry, or stunts performing or wrestling? What do you want the audience to take away from you?
I want them to take inspiration, and I want to inspire people. And in order for me to do that, I have to do more of my own stunts in front of the camera, and that's what I plan to do. I plan to be like Zoe Saldana in Colombiana, because she's my inspiration right now, that movie that's out. So I plan to hopefully have, I don't have to be that extreme with stunts, but I would love to be in a movie where I could do my own stunts and also have some serious roles at the same time, so I could show my versatility as an actor.
So, again, I'm looking over your list of credits, and the list is really, 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 really staggering. So,
thank you.
No, I'm absolutely serious. I'm just looking at all these films and TV shows, and I recognize more than half of them. So, I guess what you said that you have someone within the industry that's an inspiration, but have you met? I assume that you haven't met this person yet. That's within your inspiration within the industry. So, do you have like a family member or someone that you hold dear that's your inspiration, especially when it's more difficult to rise up from all the difficulties within the entertainment industry?
Well, I grew up with my grandparents, and unfortunately both of them are deceased. My grandmother just passed a year ago. So they inspired me a lot growing up as a kid. I think they saw in me before I saw in myself the potential that I had, because as a kid growing up, I was always playing with the boys, always faster than the boys, always doing this better than the boys. And my grandfather would always tell me, you need to channel that because you have so much in you that you could do. So I always thought to myself, I hated being a tomboy, but I loved it at the same time. So for those out there who hate some of their, the things that they're naturally gifted in, you have to channel it to do something positive that you could try to use it, because to me that's your gift to the world. So there are people out there like that who are probably an inspiration to others, but they don't know how to use it. So you have to channel your talent in the way to where you could find that. So I give all my credit to my grandparents because they're the ones who actually inspired me.
So, as said before by you, when studying a role in stunts, you watch the performer that you're about to portray. What is it exactly that you look for when you study him or her? What is it that stands out to you?
Yeah, it's more physical than verbal. It's not about their acting and verbal, what they say per se, but I watch the way they walk. I watch the way they move their hands, where they put their hands when they walk. If they're joking around, what do they do? What is their physicality? So I watch a lot of their physicality versus their verbal, because it's stunt doubles. We don't say anything anyway. So most of the time, I'm really focused on how they walk. I walk exactly how Queen Latifah walked in this certain movie. I walked exactly how Monique walked, or Viola Davis, or Tyra Banks. So I try to study all of them as much as I can on the set before I do my part. So when I get in, then I could become that person. So a lot of stunt performers are great actors because they can do that. So if any wrestler transitioning over, that's a big part of it. You have to become that person.
So, was there any particular role that you found particularly difficult because of the actions that she displayed on camera? Was it hard to mimic any particular role for stunts?
In the movie coming out in October, I guess the Texas Killing Fields, I had to get set on fire. And so, first of all, I never did a fire burn before, and so I thank the stunt coordinator for even hiring me to do it for the first time. I was a little afraid at the moment but then I had to, and I've never worked with this actress before. Deneen Tyler is her name. She's wonderful, but I kind of pulled her to the side, and I would ask her, what would you do if you were set on fire? And because I said, I don't know. It's not something that you could see right now because it's not like, I had to watch the way she walks. It's more difficult. So I said, if you were set on fire, what would you do? And she said, I think I will put my hand in the air because if it starts on my leg, because that's where it started. She says, I think I would just put my hand in the air out of fear. So when I did that, and then she had to kind of mimic me without being on fire, she did the exact same thing. So that was a little difficult because I didn't know what to expect from that. I didn't know what to do or what behavior. When you're on fire, you're like the first thing you think to do is to fall on the ground and roll. But in this particular role, I couldn't do that. I had to stay up for a little bit and burn a little bit before, not literally, but, be on fire a little bit before I was tossed on the ground.
One of my favorite questions I always ask every interviewee that I do is the following. If you had to sum up, and since you have both a career in wrestling and stunts, you can use one for each. But if you had to sum up your experience in wrestling and stunts with just one word, what would that one word be?
Motivation.
Interesting. It will be up to our viewers to interpret what you mean. So,
right.
Wrapping up, how can fans stay in touch with you? And I'm sure you're on the social networking. Everyone is.
Yeah, I'm on all the social networks with my first name. It's spelled Jwaundace. So they can look for me on Twitter with that in my first name. They can look for me on Facebook with my first name. My email address is Jwaundace@yahoo, so that's easy. My website is jwaundace.com, or they can also find me through IMDb, imdb.com. They can also look me up on there and like my page and see what I got coming up, other movies and projects I have coming out. So anything starting with my first name they could find.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Jwaundace, and I hope I got that right that
yes,
time.
you did.
Yay! Victory.
Yay!
I'd like to thank you once again for this interview. It was a pleasure. I really, really, really enjoyed this interview because you are an extremely diverse entertainer, and I really wish you the best of luck with whatever you do, whether it's wrestling, acting, stunts, or whatever in the entertainment industry. I'm sure you'll do very well. So thank you again.
Oh, thank you so much, Greg, and I wish you the best in your show, and you have a wonderful show and wonderful audience, so I wish you many blessings also.
Well, thanks for everyone else for tuning into this web show today. Be sure to check out www.wrestling-divas, and that's divas with a Z at the end, .webs.com for more details and content, and be sure to follow the Wrestling Divas website on Twitter for quicker updates. I'll be sure to add Miss Jwaundace to my website to go over her career more in depth. Be sure to check this blogtalkradio.com webpage for more upcoming interviews. I do plan to conduct some more within the next month or so. So thank you, everyone, once again, and be sure to check everything out for more content on the most beautiful and deadly entertainers in the professional wrestling, or in Miss Jwaundace's case, the entertainment industry. Thanks again.